All right, ready when you are.
Three, two, one. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's your favorite dancer, Dan.
It's just still Nick over here.
You're definitely not my favorite dancer. I'd probably put Michael Jackson just ahead of you.
It's just the enthusiasm that you have to appreciate.
Where does Rain Dancer fall in all this?
Still, big day yesterday.
What's up?
Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day to you. How was your Sunday?
Oh man, it was great, man. I would probably rank this Father's Day about third all time. Out of all my Father's Day.
Okay, well, now we need the list.
Oh, the first two, both of my kids are born before and after Father's Day. So I'm gonna say those are the best two gifts. And then this past Sunday, like yesterday, was the shiznit. I had a great time. Great gifts, great love. It was also Zaddy Day a little bit.
That's how you Dan Sunday.
I think the most important thing that you got there was love. It's a surprise.
Big love, man.
Big love.
That was a surprise.
No, because love. Like I've been doing this Father's Day awareness thing, and before the love wasn't big on Father's Day. It was socks, barbecue grill kits, and shenanigans like that. But this year, got some Dave Chappelle tickets.
Woo! So Kier's been listening to the pod, is what you're saying.
Yeah, man. That's why I thought you got to throw that out there. You
spoke it into existence.
You got to up the gifts, man. Father's Day awareness. I'm doing it for you guys. You guys don't have kids yet, so right now I'm paying the ultimate price for y'all have better Father's Days than I did. How about that?
Nick Silk keeps on with this Father's Day PR stunt. We might be getting ourselves like new cars and stuff by the time that we're dads.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, keep it going. Yeah,
like 5-star recruits, man. Get the Bama gifts.
Yeah, get new Audi by the time I have a kid. Perfect.
Oh man, Nick, how was your weekend? Good.
Just hung out with friends and laid low. It's easy weekend. I just take it easy in the off season when I don't have 3 baseball games or traveling for football.
I can see that. Well, we got a big show today. We've got Neil Blackmon on. The Supreme Court ruled today on Monday in a 9-0 decision about amateurism, the NCAA antitrust. So we're going to get Neil to talk a little bit more about that blow to the NCAA. And then we're going to get Kelvin Bolden, who's the Assistant Director of Player Personnel, a new member of the UF recruiting staff, on to talk about that. We got 2 big commitments for the football team this weekend that we're going to talk about as well. We'll go through Gator News of the Week, and we'll close out the show. So you boys ready for another big show?
Appreciate you for breaking that down to all the new listeners, man.
You got it. It's like an index or table of content, so they know where in the show to go to find what they're looking for. So before we bring on Neil, let's give a shout out to our friend Lee Friedland at the law firm Friedland and Associates, going to help you with auto accidents, medical malpractice, nursing home cases, criminal matters, and personal injury in every jurisdiction within the state of Florida. Give him a call at 1-800-95-INJURED or visit him at yourfightourbattle.com. Again, Lee Friedland at the law firm of Friedland and Associates, 1-800-95-INJURED and yourfightourbattle.com. Joining us again in just a few weeks after his first appearance, this is his second appearance, is our friend Neil Blackmon from Saturday Down South. He also does some work in the podcasting world on the Florida Gator Basketball Hour, but his daytime job is an attorney. So we're going to have him break down the Supreme Court's ruling today. Neil, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
Doing good, guys. What's up?
Cool.
Not much, man.
Hanging out a little bit, Neil.
Now, Neil, tell me, we were talking a little bit pre-show. I might be taking it farther than I should, but to me, the ruling today, I equated it to the first time the U.S. government used RICO to go after the mafia, and kind of the way that they threw antitrust into it. That's the last thing the NCAA wanted to hear, and I feel like the mafia NCAA has been hiding behind amateurism and antitrust, and today the U.S. government was like, not going to happen. You're literally the only organization in the country that is, as a company, as a business, is being able to run this way, and that can't continue. So I think it opens up a huge hole for more litigation in the future.
Yeah, they're one of two, Nick, and I think that's a good way of putting it. Baseball is kind of the last institution standing, Major League Baseball, but yeah, and antitrust is the way to start looking at the opinion, right? Because the way that this opinion works is it's not super broad. I mean, they just essentially say if you want to compensate kids for basically reimburse kids for educational related expenses, then you can. But that's not what really matters so much about this opinion. It's the fact that they say, hey, the NCAA is subject to antitrust scrutiny, and so you can no longer keep hiding behind the antitrust laws. And the other thing that they say is amateurism is mostly dead. It's mostly a myth now, and there's just too many people making too much money to prevent young people on whose backs a lot of the money is made from having the right every other American has to be compensated for their labor. Now, the court doesn't go far enough to say that, but when you get a 9-0 opinion, right, that's amazing because that tells you how, of course, justices aren't supposed to be political, but we all watch the news occasionally, right? When it's 9-0, that tells you how bipartisan it is. Yeah. And there's like so much agreement about this amateur question. And it's almost like the court is saying, hey, we are issuing an opinion where the NCAA now regrets appealing the decision that they already lost. And on top of that, it's not so much about this decision, it's about the precedent it sets, and the court saying, hey, we kind of dare you to challenge some of these name, image, likeness laws. You aren't going to like what we write.
Right. Neil, before we dive too deeply into this, just as a quick refresher of probably your first class that you took in law school, what exactly is antitrust and what are kind of the surroundings of that word?
Well, I mean, essentially there's a couple different federal laws that are set up to prevent monopolies, to promote private business and enterprise. And, the idea was to illustrate that if major college programs have been able to compete for recruits like Zion in a sport I cover, or Trevor Lawrence or Tebow, by offering them market value scholarships, right? i.e., here's what you would be worth to Alabama. Here's what you'd be worth to UF. Then naturally, some of these scholarships would have been worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, much like free agency. So that was how this lawsuit actually began. And the idea was that the NCAA caps on compensation of athletes completely is cartel-like because the NCAA controls and limits what people can make in terms of their money. Now, by the time it got to the Supreme Court, it was just Alston and Ed O'Bannon that were basically saying, well, we never got any of our education-related expenses back either, and that is also cartel-like. It's just that this ruling is in a more limited manner, but it really has to do with the ability of people and workers to compete for the value of their labor in the market.
Neil, I want to talk about something specifically that Neil Gorsuch, one of the Supreme Court justices, said. Put simply, this suit involves admitted horizontal price fixing in a market where the defendants exercise monopoly control. What do you think is next for the NCAA, for college sports moving forward? Horizontal price fixing and monopoly control are words that you don't want to see in a Supreme Court decision ruled against you. Where does the NCAA go from here, and where does the law, do you think, go from here?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think the most consequential impact of this decision is in the years ahead, because forever and ever, and this, the NCAA argument against horizontal price fixing was, well, we get favorable treatment under antitrust law, so we don't have to reimburse dollar amounts for academic expenses. We don't have to compensate athletes. And they have consistently said that. And the basis for that was the NCAA Board of Regents opinion, And where Justice Stevens said, well, you have ample latitude under antitrust law. Justice Kavanaugh suggested in oral argument, as did Justice Gorsuch, that wasn't really the holding of that case. And today, Justice Gorsuch doubled down on that. And he said, look, the way we compensate student athletes wasn't even an issue. And you should have never been able to just say you weren't subject to antitrust law. So I think this decision establishes this precedent that the NCAA is going to always be subject to antitrust scrutiny. And again, I think that the real issue there becomes what happens next in the next case.
Neil, want to talk about Greg Sankey's comments that he said that today the Supreme Court's opinion in the Alston case provides clarity as we move forward to provide additional educational related benefits to student athletes. What's also clear is the need for continuing evaluation of the collegiate model consistent to the court's decision and message. Our next step is to engage with our member institutions to consider the implications of the opinion delivered today by the court and to continue our tradition of providing superior educational and competitive opportunities while effectively supporting student athletes. So I have a specific question, but before they do that, I do want to shout out Greg Sankey for giving an actual opinion of moving forward rather than just a continued fight that I thought that you might potentially see from maybe other commissioners or the NCAA. But what do you think when we're talking about educational related benefits? I know we're talking about laptops. They've mentioned post-grad scholarships, things of that nature. But is there a legally defined term of what that could mean, or are we still waiting on some case law to be adjudicated of what that could actually mean?
Yeah, I would join you in applauding Greg Sankey for once again taking a position that appears proactive and as if the SEC is going to make moves that aren't reactive, right? We don't want to be reactive to things in the world of sports. So I would join you in that. In terms of what's next, what I think is important is that this was affirming a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision, which was affirming a ruling by a district judge, Claudia Wilkin. And that was the 10-day trial in favor of Sean Alston and that class. And it was joined by the Ed O'Bannon case. So basically what the details of what education-related compensation means, the Supreme Court today sent the case back to her to figure that out. So she's going to kind of make that decision. And the Supreme Court rejected pretty strongly a bunch of these arguments that the NCAA made about how schools would abuse this. First of all, they kind of made fun of amateurism, and they're like, well, it's funny that you're worried about a few bucks here and a few bucks there when the president of the NCAA makes $4 million a year. And then
and was just extended as well.
Yeah, just extended. And it references high-level head coaches and says these people are making $1 million salaries. So I think they reject that argument. And they also say that the NCAA can still make rules about what education-related benefits mean. It's just that they're all subject to antitrust scrutiny. But what won't happen anymore, for example, is the idea of a kid that wants to work a job, right? The NCAA can't say, well, he can't do that, and it's not an educational related activity. If it is an educational related activity and not Kirby Smart hooking up his guy to learn how to sell cars at an Athens car dealership, it's going to be allowed. So I think one really interesting thing about this is that the better your academic institution, at least right now, as the state of the law is, the more attractive these scholarships are to recruits, because as part of your scholarship package, you can now say, here's what we compensate in terms of education-related expenses. And I think that creates a lot of value to the scholarship. And again, like I said, what I expect to happen is the NCAA to now back down on challenging name, image, likeness in the courts. So really what you have is a two-prong assault on amateurism. You have on the one hand, this education-related expenses assault, and on the other hand, you have name, image, likeness, where like everyone else in America, athletes can now profit off their labor.
Okay, with the NIL, real quick, Neil. We keep speaking about in the NIL with NCAA. Aren't we waiting on certain states to free some of this up as well?
Yes, look, we are. We're waiting on a bunch of states to do it now. In the states where, and again, I think that becomes a question of whether there's competitive advantage to being in a state that already has it. I would think that there is, but yeah, that's not universal in all 50. Whereas this, because it's from the Supreme Court, now education-related expenses everywhere are subject to antitrust scrutiny.
Right.
Now, the court didn't say that they have to do it. It said it's discretionary. But again, y'all know how the big schools that want to win are going to react. Like, they're going to do it now.
What's your opinion? I see some of the kids already getting active with the NIL. I seen Trey Dean had put out a clothing line. It's one of the guys I seen on UF roster. What's your opinion on that? You think should the schools kind of slow them down, or what should be the approach here?
Well, I mean, I think the schools that embrace it are going to be better, because I think that, the reality is if you work for a stockbroker, if you work for a day trader, if my law firm conspired with another law firm to limit my salary and said, we think Neil's a decent lawyer, but he writes about football and he writes about basketball, so whatever he does in the law is for the love of the law, and we're not going to let him make more than X dollars.
Right.
I'm not saying that I would leave my law firm, but I sure might. And so, to me, the schools that lean into it are going to be in better shape.
I was talking about from more of a legal standpoint. Do you think they put lawyers around them to watch, make sure they're doing the right work contract-wise and things like that?
I got you. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No, you're good. No, you're good. It's good for the listeners. Probably thought that way as well, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, I do. I think that one benefit of this is going to be people in the legal profession, and I also think people in both the accounting professions and in this new idea that you're getting in high schools, where we finally teach kids how to manage money.
Right.
Like, how many of y'all went to high school and no one told you a darn thing about how to save any money at all?
Nothing.
No, I think I learned how to
taxes. Nothing.
No,
they don't teach you nothing. Just
That's
shenanigans.
So, we finally have life skills classes in better schools about that stuff, and I think that's going to be a big part of recruiting now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, this is our guy he's our name, image, likeness guy.
Hey, Father's Day is over, man. You better answer that kid.
Yeah, when you got the autistic daughter, she doesn't know what's going on other than my dad's in a room.
All right. No, you good, man. I understand. My son's not autistic. He's just annoying.
I think we're gonna start seeing some driver's ed majors at Alabama, and then that charger is a necessity for your major. And now we're getting new chargers every other semester.
Like the cars? Or are you talking about computer chargers?
Cars, not computer chargers. No, we're talking about a nice red Dodge 2022 Dodge Charger.
Right.
I think the biggest thing that, today you said, Neil, it was so the opinions and the decisions was so narrow, and now it's being sent down to kind of, hey, you figure this stuff out, what is necessary, stuff like that. I think the biggest thing is just down the pipeline, and it kind of just put chinks in the armor of the argument the NCAA has used since the first Yale versus Harvard football game was sponsored by a boating company. Since the very first game, there was money involved in college football, and the players have never been able to see any of that. So I think today the ruling just provides further routes and avenues for other players to file their own lawsuits, and gets to a point where, okay, we're going to see actual, real change. Do you think if the ruling had been, let's say 5-4 instead of 9-0, the NCAA could come back and just throw a little breadcrumb at the players, and how more impactful it was a 9-0 ruling instead of, a 6-3 or a 5-4?
No, I mean, again, I think it's huge because we live in the South, right? And I think, in the SEC and the Big 12, you can't judge fan bases on Twitter. I know a lot of y'all know that, right? But those are the most active and passionate fans in a lot of ways. And there is some pushback, I guess, in the Southern leagues to this idea of name, image, likeness. There has been some of that. And I think proactive governors like Governor DeSantis have been good on squelching out that and just saying, like, it's really kind of un-American to not let people profit off their labor. But yeah, I mean, I think the 9-0 is huge because it quiets some of that criticism down among some folks. And, you know, while I don't know if everybody agrees with like Kavanaugh, who said that like the NCAA needs to stop exploiting athletes in the opinion, that's pretty harsh language, but it's pretty interesting that like Justice Kagan, who was an antitrust litigator for the government for years, just said the NCAA has been price fixing for 40 years. Like, it's time for that to stop. So that's right now one of the most liberal justices and one of the most conservative justices in lockstep on something. And then Clarence Thomas, the most conservative justice, says, you know, it's funny to him that the NCAA seems less concerned about coaches' salaries ballooning. Mm-hmm. You know, so man, like that's a pretty brutal assault. And what I think is going to happen is now the NCAA is going to be reluctant to go to court to challenge things like NIL, right? Mm-hmm. Which opens the door, Silk, for more states to come and adopt it that were maybe afraid. And then what's going to happen is in states where it doesn't exist, there's going to be lawsuits. Like, they're going to say this is anti-competitive when all they need is a public school that's involved, basically.
I find no irony in the fact that on Friday, the NCAA announced that they're separating from a consulting firm that was helping them work through NIL work to just a weekend later, the Supreme Court basically says, hey, this is the world that you're going to have to live and you better learn or die. I have no doubt in my mind that the NCAA is going to go out in a flame trying to fight all of this. But Neil, I guess my last question for you is when do we start seeing the effects of this ruling?
So I think the effects of it in terms of, I think the biggest effects will be in a few years, but I think we start seeing it soon, more or less as soon as people can come up with ways to market education-related compensation in their scholarship packages. Now, one point I wanted to last make, because I brought up NIL, and I don't want listeners to get confused. NIL is different than what this is today, but they're linked because all NIL rules and education-related compensation rules are governed by NCAA rules. And what today's holding does mean is that NCAA rules are subject to antitrust scrutiny. So, like I said, it could take a few years for lawsuits to move down the chute on overall compensation. But the NCAA, because it's a 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court today basically said the courthouse doors are open, baby. And you guys come, and the NCAA is like, well, man, you know, now we're paying a lot of lawyers. So it's time for the NCAA to get with the time, so to speak. And I think that starts happening at the NCAA offices tomorrow, right? So, but in terms of when we see impacts, I don't know. Florida's a top 10 university. It's a Florida podcast. Like, Florida's going to come up with some way to market that quick.
Perfect. Well, Neil, we really appreciate your time again, especially last minute to break down this ruling for us. Remind everybody where they can follow you on Twitter, your podcast, all of your writing and everything else.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. And you guys can follow me at NW Blackmon on Twitter. Can also follow our podcast at Florida BB Hour. You want the latest on basketball stuff. So we record a little less in the summer because there's less to talk about. And apparently Mike White is only going to use the transfer portal forever. So I ain't doing a recruiting show until they actually recruit somebody. But hit us up.
I love it. Well, Neil, thanks so much again for your time, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, y'all. Appreciate it.
There we go. We got Mark Emmert Escobar. Bad day for him.
Yeah, bad day for him.
That's crazy to me that like a bad day for the
it,
NCAA means just like good things for student athletes. That's wild, but that's like a reality that we live in.
But the NCAA only works for the schools. Like they only govern the rules that all these schools paid them to govern. You know.
Well, then let's talk about how many.
They're the face of it. They just take the beating from fans and everybody else. But really, bro, it's the colleges.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't escape me the fact that colleges have been figuring out ways to take advantage of students for decades, whether it be financially, whether it be through ridiculous academic necessities that are required, absurd fees, whatever the case may be. So I think that this is a great day for student athletes. I think that this is good for the viewer. I think that this is good for everybody but the NCAA. I think it's far beyond time for the NCAA and universities to figure out a better way to support student athletes that generate millions and sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars for their university.
Speaking of that, I remember having a class in college and we had to buy 2 books. It totaled like $350 and they were both written by the professor. And I'm like, what kind of scam is this?
Yeah, that's a good scam. I like that one.
There was a class.
I like that scam. Here's my podcasting book. Everyone on the roll up needs to buy it.
Oh, and I have
you got to buy my book and my tutorials and shit, right?
And I have no doubt, Nick, that he changed that volume every, I don't know, probably semester, every other semester, just
move some commas around. Hey, it's a new volume.
There was a class that I took in college. It was a science class called Age of Dinosaurs, and this professor had it completely figured out. Everything was on it.
What was that class for?
I'll tell you about it in a second. It was a CD, and you had to buy the CD, and you couldn't resell the CD because you had to type in like an ID associated with it. It can only be used once. It was $90. All of the tests and quizzes were done on that, except for the in-person stuff. And everything was written by him. So he got all of these millions or, the hundreds of thousands of dollars every year just on that alone. And then you could never resell it back to the bookstore. Just a wild, speaking of the mafia or the mob type mentality, right? Age of Dinosaurs, Silk is a class that a lot of students that aren't science majors take at the University of Florida. It's an easy A. You really don't talk a lot about dinosaurs. You talk more about rocks and stuff like that. Just an easy A.
Rocks for jocks.
Rocks for jocks.
And you were a noted and decorated intramural football player, so it makes sense that you're in Rocks for Jocks.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
I had a great joke, but I'm not going to use it.
Well, I appreciate that. Before we get on to Kelvin Bolden, we do want to lift our thoughts and prayers up to Tyler Hall. A lot of you knew him as Tice a year ago today. He passed. So shout out to Tice. We miss you, bro. We knew that he was an avid Florida Gators fan. He was a listener to this podcast, a friend of a lot of people that listen to this podcast, and just a great member of the Gator Nation. So again, he passed a year ago today.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to the homie Tice, man. Just a great dude. If you ever met him, like real friendly. Always smiling, always just great energy, man. So long live Tice.
Absolutely. And if you want to remember Tyson in a monetary way, his family set up a scholarship to the University of Florida called the Tyler Tice Hall Endowed Memorial Scholarship, which supports forestry students in their junior or senior year. I think it's a $500 scholarship that they give out every year. So if you want to do that, you can reach out to the UF Advancement Department or type that in. It's, again, the Tyler Tice, that's TYCE, Hall Endowed Memorial Scholarship, and give to that fund in honor of him. So rest in peace. We miss you, brother, and we'll think about you moving forward, man. But as we move on, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Roof Soldier. So if you need a new roof, or if your roof is leaking, maybe your insurance company is making you replace your roof. It's hurricane season. We've already made it through our first tropical depression here in the United States. Give them a call, 1-877-ROOFS-FL. Again, 877-766-3735. Mention Stadium and Gale. You'll get $1,000 or more off your roof replacement. Again, that's roofsoldier.com, 1-877-ROOFS-FL. Let's bring Kelvin Bolden onto the show.
Is he in?
Nope.
Okay, I sent it to him.
Pause.
Nick typed that and said it when he pressed enter.
No. I told him. I sent him while we were still talking to Neil, and I said it'll be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I sent that at 7:06. So I just say ready when you are.
Very good. All right, let me get a brief bio about him real quick.
It's a guy. He's got 1,000 career yards receiving.
Woo!
Like 13 touchdowns. Went to the Hawaii Bowl. They won their conference.
Dude, 113 touchdowns and 1,000 receiving
Yeah.
yards. That's a yards per touchdown ratio. He went to Southern Miss, right?
Yep. He coached there. He was a wide receivers coach there.
I took the pontoon out, the Silk.
Took the pontoon out?
Took the pontoon out.
What was that about? You just take it out for lunch, like random shit. You getting like
I do, but on Sunday I took it out for the entire day. We got out at like 9:30. We were out till about 6. A nice day.
nice summertime, man.
Y'all said he played at Southern Miss?
Southern Miss, yeah.
What years?
Yeah.
11,
2010, 2011.
10, 11.
There's a quarterback from like 20 minutes from my house. I actually used to play Little League Baseball with him. That was their quarterback, I believe.
Oh, nice. You guys should tell stories about him.
Well, no, he's a dude. I'm asking if he thinks the same thing about us, me or not. That kid's actually, I think he's at Auburn now coaching somehow.
Oh, your boy?
He was at Troy under Neil Brown. And I think he's over at Auburn right now.
Speaking of Neil Brown, I saw that FSU's former quarterback is our commit, Nico Marchiol. Yeah.
Dude, Neil Brown's a hell of a coach, man.
Neil Brown's a good coach. I think that if he plays his cards right, he'll be able to move up from West Virginia pretty quickly. Yeah. He's one of those up-and-comer names that, like, when Florida's been looking for coaches, like when Dan Mullen was there, it's like if they miss on some people, and you wanted up-and-comer, Neil Brown was the kind of guy.
I'm kind of biased because he was at Troy, which is only like 2 hours from where I'm at. So I've seen him a few times, but just knowing like what that program was and what he did with it, I was not going to be mad if they went with him.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any pictures of braids, so he'll be all right.
Slide my shit over a little bit.
All right,
So I really mute though, so when I lay back like this, I don't look like a lazy motherfucker.
All right, so Cam, I'm gonna just do Gator news of the week. So before you do that, can you do a quick Brunt ad read?
Already.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Shout out to the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys, my man Greg got you. Home, auto, life insurance, renter's insurance, any financial service that you may need, my man Greg got you. Visit bruntinsurance.com or give him a call at 954-589-2204. Big coverage, big policies.
Perfect. Well, let's get into Gator news of the week. Not a ton going on, but still some really big stuff is happening in the world of Gator sports. Florida Gators swimming coach Anthony Nesty, who coaches both men and women's, was tabbed as an assistant swim coach for the United States men's Olympic team. He's going to join former Florida Gator head coach Greg Troy with that team. If you don't remember, Anthony Nesty won his third straight SEC of the Year title, helping the men's team to their 9th consecutive league title back in February. He's going to join with his current swimmers, Kieran Smith and Bobby Fink, who's going to join Caleb Dressel, who is slated to have another monster Olympics for the United States swimming team. So congratulations to him. We talked about it last week that Brian Shelton and Tanner Stump won ITA regional awards last year. Well, shout out to both of them. They were named by the ITA as the National Coach of the Year and National Assistant Coach of the Year. So congratulations to Brian Shelton and Tanner Stump of the men's national championship tennis team. Nick, up your alley, outfielder Judd Fabian was named to the 2021 NCBWA third team All-American team. Judd Fabian was also named along with left-handed pitcher Hunter Barco as a first team and second team, respectively, 2021 Southeast ABCA/Rawlings all-regional team last week. So congratulations to those boys. In gymnastics, 2 incoming Gator freshmen, Riley McCusker and Leanne Wong, earned berths onto the 2021-2022 U.S. National Gymnastics team. In women's lacrosse, Reggie Thorpe joined the lacrosse staff as an assistant coach. He joined from the University of Pittsburgh, and before that, he served 10 years as head coach at Syracuse University. So welcome, Coach Thorpe. And finally, in women's volleyball, incoming freshman Gabby Essex earned a spot on the women's indoor under-20 national training team. She is a 6'3" middle blocker from Hoover, Alabama, and is just one of 20 players selected for this honor. So congratulations to them. And that is this week's Gator News of the Week.
That was exciting.
It was exciting.
It's just a slow time right now, but the Olympics give you a little more content for Gator News of the Week.
Yeah, we're just a couple weeks from the Olympics? Maybe 10 days?
A little flamingo action coming on the way.
Grant?
Yeah, I lost Dan a little with the flamingo. I could
Well, it took me a second because the Cush House has the flamingo.
Yeah.
We're talking about Stadium and Gale legend.
Yeah.
That Silk, you're a big track guy. You watch like the trials and all that stuff that's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy right now, man. So much speed out of Texas and Jamaica that is nuts, man. But yeah, it's fun. That's the only thing I really like in the Olympics. I don't get into all the other stuff. I don't even watch the dream team of basketball. I just watch 100, 200, 400, 4x1, and then I'm out of there.
Man, I watch
maybe the mile relay.
I watch all of that. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back a couple years, it was 3 years ago now. I'm up at like 3:30 watching USA Canada curling. No idea what the rules are.
Yeah,
totally into it. Yeah.
One year I got into curling real heavy, and it's like more of a touch sport, I would say, right?
I think that was in probably 2008 or 2012. Those were the two Olympics where curling took off, and then I feel like last Olympics it just kind of died back down. And when I say 2008 or 2012, I meant 2010 or 2014 were the Olympics that you probably got into curling. So I was traveling for work, and I was in Windsor, Canada, back in 2011, February 2011, and I saw curling in person. And I don't know if I've ever watched anything more boring in my life in person.
How dare you?
No, it's just, when the cameras are on it, when you have overhead cams of everything, when you have commercial breaks, when they don't show, when you have multiple matches going on at the same time, man, I just about fell asleep. But I paid $45 to be there, so I was going to watch the whole damn thing.
Most exciting sport on ice.
I went to a cricket game in Bahamas that was pretty fucking boring and a snort fest.
That's a long. Those cricket games are long.
Boring.
So was out there for 6.5 days watching.
No, I had an uncle that used to tell me all his cricket stories. I thought he was a liar, so I went to a game one time to see if he could get his stats, and I realized it was the boringest game ever. Shout out to cricket.
Nick, what's the most boring game you've watched besides the sport you cover?
Used to go to some hockey games where you get free tickets to watch the Panthers. That's the only way to get me into a hockey arena is that I got free tickets, and there's no need to go.
Is it like curling a little bit to you?
No, I think curling is much more exciting. That's probably the most exciting game on ice.
This absolute slander on here. The Lightning take on the Islanders in just 34 minutes here.
It's pretty much speed curling.
He just doesn't mean that.
I think hockey is like figure skating with sticks.
Yeah, a couple fights in between.
Yeah, a couple. I think they're discouraging fighting now.
My sport is discouraging, not outlawing, discouraging fighting. And your sport is talking about sticky putty that you put on your hands to throw a baseball. So we'll talk about which one is more exciting.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Do they still rush the mound in baseball these days? No.
Yeah, it happens. Frowned upon, but it happens.
Okay.
Very good. Well, Silk, that brings us to the end of our show. Why don't we get a Manscaped ad read, and then Nick, think about what your song of the week is going to be, my friend.
Man, shout out to my family jewels, man. Smooth as eggs. Shout out to the great folks at manscaped.com. Be sure to use coupon code. Sorry about that. 3, 2, 1. Be sure to use coupon code SG at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. It's a great time to have ball deodorant. Summer is officially here and it is scorching outside. Ball deodorant saved my Father's Day weekend. Without it, I would have probably ran back inside and just chilled on the couch in the AC. But thank God to Manscaping that ball deodorant, I was able to vibe out by the pool. You know what I'm saying? Chill.
Very good.
Yeah. Do some fatherly things in the heat.
Can't leave home without it.
Absolutely not, man.
It's like a Visa card for your balls.
Have you gotten a new kit? I opened a new kit, man. They got more gifts for your balls. More packages for my package. Coupon code.
So
what's up? You got questions?
So we yes, no, I'm not specific.
I left you flustered.
Yeah, so you left me a little flustered. So in the new package they gave us, I haven't opened mine, and in fact, I'm thinking of giving it as a gift to somebody. I haven't figured out a way that we're going to do this as maybe a giveaway, a Stadium and Gale giveaway. But it comes with a razor, it comes with an exfoliating lotion, it comes with a shaving cream as well. So I think we're going to figure out a way to do a giveaway for one of those. But as always, thanks for supporting me.
Let's give away mine too. I'll buy one. Whatever. I'll give away mine to the fans as well.
Okay, cool. We'll give away 2. Nick needs his for personal use, so he's going to keep his.
We can give away 3.
You probably scruffy, bro. If you scruffy, you scruffy. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Scruffy.
Yeah. We don't ask personal questions on this show.
Everybody deserves smooth balls, so let's give away 2 kits.
All right, very good. 2 kits of clean balls coming your way. We'll come up with a way to give those away here shortly. Nick, take us out with the song of the week.
I was listening to it, just came on randomly. My guy Logic. We're gonna go with Logic.
I like Logic.
Logic featuring. This one's from his, I think, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is the album, and we're gonna go Logic Homicide featuring the GOAT Eminem.
Very good. Looking forward to that.
The white rapper GOAT.
I like that.
Put him in a box.
Like I'm still like my white rapper GOAT is Mac Miller, but I'm gonna let you slide with that.
I like Mac, but M's the guy I grew up on. That's the one where you had to I think he came out, his first album, I must have been in 5th, 6th grade, and you had to get your hands on it, and you're like, oh,
right. No, M got the bars. I just like
not let mom and dad hear what I'm listening to right now. Would not be approved of.
Yeah, Eminem is crazy with the bars, but I just thought Mac had the vibes, man. I'm more of a vibe guy.
Yeah, man, you're not gonna throw a lot. You're not gonna throw the Marshall Mathers LP on, at the cookout. That's not really what you're vibing to.
Only when I want to go terrorize my ex.
You're gonna throw Kim on.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Same quarter, same time next weekend.
Already.
Bet.
Very good. All right, so Nick, you haven't heard from Kelvin, right?
Nope. Sent him a message at 7:06 with the link. 7:12, ready when you are. 7:28, you still good for tonight.
All right. Well, so then what we'll do is
start recruiting, right?
Yeah. I was just gonna do that. I was gonna go back to that. Cam, I know this is gonna be way out of order. Sorry, dude. But it is what it is. So I'm going to do a quick ad read for Carlton Black, and then we'll get into recruiting. And then if we need to do one of those announcements where we're like, hey, Kelvin Bolden had a situation come up, and we'll get him on in the future, we can do that too. All right, 3, 2, 1. And boys, big weekend in recruiting. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friend Carlton Black with Cardinal Financial. He's licensed in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Virginia. So if you're looking for a home loan, including a conventional loan, FHA loan, VA loan, fixed rate loan, adjustable rate mortgage, jumbo loan, or more. He also can help with construction loans and one-time closes, as well as down payment assistance loans. Also, if you're looking to refinance, he can help you there too. Give him a call at 404-769-5501 or carlton.black@cardinalfinancial.com. Again, that's 404-769-5501, carlton.black@cardinalfinancial.com. Guys, it's been a little while since we had multiple recruits happen, commit in a weekend, but we did it this weekend. The Gators hosted, I think, 6 or 7 official visitors and then a number of unofficial visitors this weekend. The Gators grabbed first from Mobile, Alabama, out of Faith Academy, 6'3", 200-pound linebacker Shamar James, who Rivals has listed as the 211th best player in the country. 247 composite has him ranked as the 146th ranked player in the country. Plays linebacker, also plays wide receiver and wildcat quarterback for his team. Silk, we'll go to you first. Your thoughts on what I think a lot of people thought was an unlikely commitment of Shamar James this weekend.
Yeah, I said on stage, not Stage Miguel, but I said on a Big 3 roll-up, there's a kid we was getting on campus, but a kid from Mobile, Alabama, that I just thought was good to have him on campus. You know what I'm saying? The profile of kids coming on campus is going up. I was crediting the off-the-field staff and a lot of things, but C-Rob and other guys had something else in mind. They spoke to the kid, and he was kind of saying that he didn't have any expectation on committing or anything like that. Just got to campus, enjoyed the visit. They knocked it out of the park. Family loved it. I see Rob just telling a good message, man. Shout out to Diabate and School, 2 guys that we schooled up from the Alabama area that also was important in his visit. I think this is a great get. A guy that Bama board. They wanted this guy. He's in their backyard. Saban come down to South Florida, snatch ours, we snatched his, man. So get up out our backyard, we'll stay out yours, maybe. Huh?
Yeah, Shamar James shouted out both Christian Robinson and Chase Clark as being, who's an assistant director of player personnel as well, Chase Clark, as big parts of his recruitment. Nick, you've been involved in a lot more recruiting than, well, I ever thought you would be. What are your thoughts on Shamar James?
Like Silk said, I think it's just a big get. One, it's I think Florida wants him at linebacker. That's a position, if you start looking, I think Florida's loaded this year, but you're going to lose a bunch of guys to the NFL and to graduation. So I think it's a position you need to start loading up on. 6'3", 210 already. Big, rangy guy.
Could play some DB, some star as well. You never know.
That versatility, I think, and shout out to C-Rob. I think C-Rob hit the ground running and recruiting, and then some people on the Twitter streets have been wondering what he had been doing since his second year. But Shamar was big on his relationship with C-Rob and how honest he was. So I think it's a big get. Being a South Florida elitist, I'll take what Silk said and said, well, I would like to go ahead and keep going to your backyard in South Florida rather than going to Alabama. But I mean, Mobile produced Tony, LaMichael Pirine. So you've gotten some good pulls, some good athletes, and some good return from that area. But it's always good. Just, hey, keep poking the bear. Poke the bear and be like, we're here. We're gonna come into your area and take some guys you want. Something interesting also to me was I saw Tony tweet about it after the commitment, and I wonder how much Florida gets those guys involved, guys that are in the league or guys that have moved on. Get them involved in any kind of recruiting, whatever they can.
Yeah, that's that 251 connection. Shout out to Kadarius Toney for signing his contract as well just a couple of days ago. Shamar James, I know a lot of people get freaked out when crystal balls roll in, and a lot of people take them as gospel. There's a couple of crystal balls in favor of Alabama for Shamar James. I think a lot of people expected him to go to Alabama, or at least thought that was at least the prevailing thought. Like you said, Stoke, I think that he can play a lot of positions. Obviously, he's rangy, he's fast, he's versatile and athletic. That's the reason he plays quarterback, wide receiver, linebacker, defensive back, safety. for his school. So I think that he's a huge get. I think that those are the guys that you need to get. Those are the ones that are impact players that affect other people's recruitment as well. We talked about on, I believe it was the last show, about big name guys committing early and being guys that go out and recruit. And good players want to play with other good people. And so, getting a guy like Shamar James is huge. I think he helps fill a variety of holes. And I think that he can either grow or shrink into a number of positions. I know a lot of people have him slated as linebacker, but I know Rivals has him listed as an athlete. So I think Florida wants him at linebacker as well, but we'll see what he does and what he grows into. But I think that that's a huge get for the Florida Gators. Not to be outdone, just a few hours later, the Gators grabbed wide receiver Chandler CJ Smith, wide receiver from Bishop Moore. He's a composite on 247, 364th ranked overall, the 54th ranked wide receiver, and is also going to run track at the University of Florida. He's posted times of a 10.28 and a 20.62 in the 100-meter and 200-meter respectively. He may be one of the fastest players that Florida's ever recruited since Jeff Dems. So let's break it down.
Speed. Dan Mullen wants to be the fastest team in the country, bro. He's very well on his way. The wide receiver corps is nasty. They're not just fast, they're also big kids. 6'1" and better, just like Billy like it. Billy doing what he want to do on the trail right now. He getting what he want. It ain't just TJ Smith. Shout out to Bun. Bun was at Bama this weekend riding shotgun with Nick Saban. Big time. The big dogs are out the guys we got. Like, we need to get credit to this staff for knocking it out of the ballpark so far this season. They've had a steady approach, nothing quick, not rushing anything, but they're landing guys that are studs, guys that gonna make a difference quick when they get on campus, not guys that got to be developed for a long time. When you're competing with Bama and the big dogs of the world, I mean, you out for guys that can play right away. So, man, I just want to give a shout out to the staff for doing what they're doing so far. If we could get heavy seats start hitting like this, man, I might start getting real crazy, One of the tweets that came from Shane Graham, the special teams coach, I thought was dope. I don't know if this is what they're selling, but he tweeted, he said, recruits, your decision doesn't depend on what staff has the biggest hype man. Where you have the most fun on your officials, fan follows, likes, retweets, but it's about a natural fit that makes sense for you, your future, and what feels like home. Chosen few 22. I think that's dope, man. Just like you talk about the kids that we got, the Diabates, the Jeremiah Williams, Scooby Williams, those guys that left Bama, not following the hype of Alabama because it's easy to do. I'm pretty sure Tony is screaming and helping out with that Alabama recruitment of, yo, man, go your own route and you go first round like I did. Go be your own guy. So I think it's dope. Staff got something cooking, and I'm buying it right now.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that you're starting to see quite a bit more of this staff being vocal on social media. We saw Hova, who is on the recruiting staff as well. John Herron
right.
Tweet about tweet a photo of Florida's defensive linemen that have been drafted and drafted highly. Walter Nolan, who's a guy that the University of Florida wants, 5-star guy, has been on campus a number of times recently, formerly a Georgia commit, was at Michigan. And there's a lot of rumors and speculation that Michigan has been very actively, negatively recruiting against Florida, especially in the defensive line
Still feel
area.
good.
Yeah, so they're getting more active. They're putting things out there. I think that Florida has a great product to sell. I think the issue a lot of times has just been messaging and the way that they're getting out there. So the staff seems to be putting in a lot of hard work. The results are starting to pay off, and Florida is in the mix for a ton of players out there. Nick, we didn't get your thoughts. Break down some of your thoughts on CJ Smith.
Yeah, I had the chance to talk to him. The first time I talked to him, I think it was the junior day, the very first time Florida had guys on campus. Mm-hmm. And no one had asked him about track. And I remember being like, oh, well, do you want to do both? Thinking, hey, if you're a serious track guy, the program that program that Mouse has, like, this is the place for you. And there's guys who have done both. I mean, that's really tough because, like, as soon as football ends, your track season starts and you're going to miss, like Jeff Demps used to miss spring football because he was running track. So it's tough, but yeah, he said, no, got a chance to sit down and talk to them. And they said, it would be a definite possibility. So I think that opportunity to play football and run track at Florida, on top of, everything academic that Florida offers, was probably the biggest thing in his recruitment. And sure, Alabama can offer that too, but you're talking about a program at Florida that is a perennial, SEC champion or contender and contends for national championships. So I think that's a huge, huge factor. And I think that's probably why you think, hold on to that commitment as well.
What do you think about? I like his top end speed. I do think he could work on route running, which a lot of track guys can. A lot of guys at his level can. But I like him as a prospect, man. His ceiling's crazy. I think he's gonna go up in rankings. Not a lot more to say about him, but a great prospect. He was supposed to take some Georgia and I think more visits, but he kind of shut it down after the Florida visit. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I think that Silky, you were mentioning Isaiah Bond earlier, and I wanted to mention this as well. Florida really has gone after speed, like you mentioned. So Isaiah Bond is a 10.48 100-meter guy. Julian Humphrey is a guy that runs, I think, in the high 10.8s. Those are just a program that has seemingly recruited not the way that Urban Meyer did. Urban Meyer often wanted the fastest guy, and we'll figure it out. Just get him the ball and we'll figure the rest out. Or get him on campus, we'll get him the ball and figure the rest out. So I love this strategy. Like you said, Silk, they're bigger guys. They're not lean tweener types. Isaiah Bond and CJ Smith both have the bodies to be able to perform at a high level in football. They're not just track guys. They're not just going to be speed, X guys that just run, streaks up the sideline, right? I think that they're guys that can contribute, but speed is so important at the college level. And if Florida really wants to win and to take it to that next level, then I think this is the way that you do it.
He's got size too. I remember asking him, I remember asking CJ if Florida kind of compared him to anyone, or if he compared himself to anyone. He brought out Trayvon Grimes, obviously better top end speed, but at 6'3", he's got some good size. So I think that's another great get for Florida. And man, it's been a good month overall.
I don't think it's done.
Yeah.
What are you hearing, Nick? Give us the tea.
The tea?
That's what the streets call it, the tea.
Next evening, I think it's going to slow down now. I don't think there's any more official visits in June. But yeah, it's been wild, and I think
no Gibbs action anytime soon. I think there's some Gibbs action here soon, like a week or so. No,
I think I would put him on commitment watch. He was just on an official visit. I think who else was on official visits? He was on with Shamar, Smith, Wezelock.
Yeah.
Pearson.
Yeah. Which is an incredible prospect, man. I love his film.
So that's big too. I think we talked about it, last week, you get to a situation where these guys want to play with each other. You look at the super team culture in the NBA. It's like, hey, I want to go somewhere where I can win and compete. Get all these really good players on. Back when you're playing NCAA football, you're like, oh shoot, I shouldn't bring the top 3 defensive ends on campus this week because I don't want them to get scared. But I think these kids want to play with each other, and you get a situation where, hey, get all this talent on campus, and let's see if we can get them talking and dreaming of, hey, if we're all here on the same team, we can go win a championship.
Absolutely. Nick, the one name that you left off there that visited, and I believe this is his 3rd official visit to the University of Florida, and you're wondering how that is Elijah Blake. He's the guy that was previously committed to Jim McElwain, ended up not signing with the Florida Gators, ended up going to junior college, ends up heading to Nebraska. Then he heads to Texas. He opted out. I believe he also declared for the draft at some point during that, or said he was going to declare for the draft at some point. But Elijah Blades, who in 2019, the last time he played, started 6 games for Texas A&M, had 19 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, changed his Twitter profile picture to him in a Florida Gators uniform. I know a lot of people had him on commitment watch, and maybe they still do. But Elijah Blades, Silk, I know you have some thoughts on Elijah Blades and his
I have thoughts.
University of Florida.
You got thoughts too, fam. What do you mean?
I do. I'm
What'd
ready
you
to
say,
debate
Dan? You ready to
Yeah,
debate?
said-
All right, prepare your notes.
I said that I did not need Elijah.
Am I the judge
on
here?
my campus.
Yeah, you could judge it.
Okay.
You could be
I said that I did not necessarily need. I didn't say necessarily. I'm sorry. I said I did not need Elijah Blades on my campus.
I don't need him, but I want him a little bit, Dan.
Okay.
Just because I don't like my secondary last year was food. Only thing that was proven that's back, especially a corner, is Kyer. I'm scared of Jaden Hill. I keep telling y'all on this show. Like, I don't trust Jaden Hill, and clearly the staff don't, because they went up to 2 transfers at one spot, which is a red flag. They seen something in spring that say, yo, we need to bring at least in 2 bodies to reassure this position.
And that position is the nickel corner, or is that the second corner?
I think they all these guys are like the same. I think they like flexible guys, Pauls. So I think all like the nickel corner, I think all that's interchangeable. Only person that's really stuck is Kyer. But I think that second corner spot and that nickel spot is interchangeable. I've been seeing DeJuan Black work out the linebacker, so I really think it's up in the air.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason Elijah Blades, I think is a fine player. I think that he, potentially has a future somewhere. I don't know if he necessarily makes Florida any better next season than a Jaden Hill or somebody else that could potentially get those snaps. I think that you're taking a chance on a guy that in his 5 years or so of playing college football has never really amounted to much. Even when he played at Texas A&M and started at Texas A&M, I don't think that he was particularly great. His Pro Football Focus, numbers don't really speak very highly of him as a player. Now, if he's a depth add, then maybe, but I think that Florida has quality enough players, just as quality as Elijah Blades, that if there's another scholarship opportunity to give to somebody that may transfer during the summer, then that's somebody that I would rather use that scholarship spot on. You already brought in Jadarius Perkins. I think that Florida has a lot of talent there at cornerback, and I don't necessarily think that adding Elijah Blades makes that secondary any better.
I just haven't seen the talent.
Right. But I don't know if Elijah Blades has that talent too. Now, if you're just
but I think he starts.
Elijah Blades is another body. Well,
but I think he beats. I think he beats those guys out for the position. Then if he does, that's an upgrade of whatever. If it's substantially small, then cool. But he definitely gonna upgrade. If he wins that job, then it wasn't a bad take, right? If he rides the bench and doesn't do anything, it's still not a bad take. He's like one and done. I don't think there's no risk.
And that's why it's hard for me to judge right now whether it's a good take or not. I mean, he's not even committed. He's not enrolled on the campus or anything else. I just don't think that he makes Florida as what he's been as a player. Add in the fact that he hasn't played organized football in a year, I don't think that he necessarily comes in and makes Florida a better team. Now, could he have spent this year working out and becoming, a faster, stronger, better athlete? Sure, he certainly could have done that. But also when you opt out for that season, he wasn't able to participate in a lot of those organized team activities. He wasn't getting game time, so maybe on film 2 years ago, he was better than Jaden Hill, but I don't know if he's better than him now.
Okay, say you don't bring him in, right?
Right.
Jaden Hill's your starter, right?
Yeah, or Jason Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Number of players.
Okay, well, just say one of them get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
I mean, you could say that about any position, right? I mean, you could say
other positions we have depth. Like, we have no depth, so it's like, who's going to step in? We don't even like Jaden Hill that much, let alone the guy behind him. You know what I'm saying? I just think, like, we just need veteran, older guys, and it just don't – I mean, he may – yeah, shoot, Elijah Blades may come and just lay a egg. He may not do anything. You know what I'm saying? He may not do anything, but I don't see any risk here. I think when you have a problem position, you throw bodies at it until you fix it.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm not against the idea of taking him potentially in the future. But I also think that if Florida has, one scholarship opening right now, Nick, and I know that there's going to be transfers and other things, but you also have the one-time transfer rule that will allow potentially a better player that might become available in a couple of months, and that spot's taken by a guy that in 5 years has never lived up to any billing that he had. And who knows in, a couple of months, if a better player doesn't come in and is a better use of that spot, including a better cornerback.
Dan, you're a little jaded. No, we haven't taken, but you're a little jaded about the decommitment as well, right? A little bit.
No, I don't care.
No,
you want to hear jaded?
I've never met him before, so I don't.
I'll give you jaded.
Yeah,
this is jaded. back when I was with Gator Country, Elijah Blades and CJ Henderson played in like some USA versus the world high school all-star game.
What was the final score?
I forgot about that.
Like
He was with
CJ?
CJ? Like 30.
Man, this man's working on a doctorate degree, hopefully.
Yeah.
He's like 35.
So
high school with me.
I don't know what I was sent down to interview CJ, who was uncommitted, and Elijah, who was still committed to Florida at that time. So I drive down to Orlando. I watch this practice. I can't care less about this game. Didn't want to drive the 2 hours to Orlando. CJ tells me kindly, no, thank you. Not going to talk about recruiting. And I'm like, well, no one cares about this game, bro. I came down to talk about recruiting because I think National Signing Day was like a week later or something like that.
No, CJ don't like to talk to people.
He did not like to talk to me. Elijah Blades gives me an interview, and he gives me some like Dave Portnoy pizza score. He was like, yeah, I'm 83.67 committed to Florida. I'm like, that sounds like you just pulled that number out of the sky right now. Sure, cool. Send off the stories, driving back. Before I even get back to Gainesville, Blades has sent out his decommitment tweet. And I'm like, whoo, just drove 4 hours for one interview where the kid told me he was a weird number % committed. And within 2 hours after giving me that number is now decommitted. So now he is 0.0% committed. That's jaded. I've been not a fan.
You typed all them words for no reason.
I didn't type any of the words. I just did all the driving. I just sent the audio on so that Spivey could write the words. And I think Spivey hadn't even published a story before the decommitment happened. So they 4 hours round trip of driving for nothing. But I'm kind of with Silk. Like if you have a roster spot, doesn't hurt. Put a body out there. I do think it's that Florida is going after these transfer portal grad transfers. I think that's more telling on their feelings of Jaden Hill this year. Not Jaden Hill necessarily as a player in 2022 or 2023, but as telling on him this year. And I think if you're bringing guys in, multiple guys at a position, that tells me you're not confident with what you have going forward right now.
Right. That's a big red flag. And also, like people are screaming offensive lineman, but to be honest, man, like every other position probably hits higher than offensive lineman in the portal. Like every single position, it's probably dead last in the portal of like success rate.
Yeah, unless you're the guy from FSU that FSU is ready to kick out of there, and then ends
Landon,
up winning
Landon Dickerson.
Right, ends up getting drafted, ends up winning the Remington Trophy, all that kind of fun stuff. But no, I think that you're right. No, I'm not against the idea of bringing in defensive back transfers. I'm not against bringing in a player that adds depth or could potentially start, obviously. I'm just saying that I think that if you're going to use that spot, that there could be potentially better options, and that's one of those gambles that you either hold it now and wait for a better option and hope that there's a better option that you can win, or take it now and know that that's the bed that you slept in. I was
almost in July, dog. When you think they're gonna be ready, Dan?
Well, I mean, I think that there's going to be some transfers this summer. I think that there's a lot of transfers that you see after summer camp. I don't think that Elijah Blades coming on, is going to make a huge impact. I don't think he's going to start right away. I think that being out of football for an entire year is a big deal.
Could they possibly just have him wait to enroll? Like, I mean, he's not really a take until he enroll, right? It's not like a letter of intent or anything. So they could still wait. You're
right. They could wait, but I would imagine that he's being recruited by a number of schools that aren't going to make him wait.
To enroll?
Yeah, I mean, because he could probably enroll for Summer B. I mean, I would imagine Florida wants him there as soon as possible, right? I mean, they're going to practice during the summer, so I don't think that they want him, a guy that hasn't played football in a year, to enroll in August.
If that was their interest of maybe getting another guy, if they're keeping a lookout, that could be something. Enroll in the fall while we kind of keep looking around. I'm just speculating.
Yeah. Well, his AARP benefits are going to kick in soon, so maybe he can afford college on his own. Who knows?
You gotta get a mean discount at social.
That's right. Those movie code tickets are going to be cheap. Shout out to CJ. Gosh, I'm just forgetting the names here. The two commitments that Florida got.
CJ Smith, right?
CJ Smith and Shamar James.
Right.
Sorry about that. Shamar James that committed to the University of Florida. We talked about him briefly. DJ Wesolak, who's an edge, who's considered a Clemson lean, top 100 guy, was on campus. Alex McPherson, kicker out of Alabama, brother of Evan McPherson, who just is with the Cincinnati Bengals now, former Florida Gators kicker, and then Terrence Gibbs, running back, who we mentioned as well, were on campus. Any thoughts? DJ Wesolak, incredible player. Silk, have you heard anything about him and Florida's recruitment of him?
Nah, I don't think we're the leader. But I don't know a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, the staff has been really quiet about leaking information. Has been a whole lot of whispers about this person's gonna commit at this time. So I don't have a whole lot of information. But from what I do know, he's not a Florida lean. We're in it, but the big dogs in it. These are guys. I mean, we're competing with Alabama this cycle for a lot of kids, man. So we'll see where we're at. I don't know his decision timeline, but I think he's a early enrollee, right?
I believe so. I don't know what his timeline is yet. I don't know if he's announced one.
He told Corey Florida pitched both inside and outside linebacker to him, and that he got like the family feel. I think Florida's really kind of leaned into that. Having recruits over to Dan's house, having, not just Megan around, but, all of the wives and kids and really trying to pitch that Florida's a family. He says that Florida's pretty high. You want to play in the SEC when you're a national recruit. You want to play with the best. You want to be at home. So that's the feeling that he got at Florida. He said that's a factor. It feels like home. That is a line you hear a lot now. And I think he is in LA at Southern Cal next weekend, or this coming weekend.
USC is piping up a little bit this cycle. They've been on the ears and the lips of a lot of kids.
That's wild, bro. Because Clay Helton, I mean, they've been trying to get my guy out of there, and he's just recruiting through the noise.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I don't even know if a lot of these kids were really alive during or watching football. At least the last time USC was a national powerhouse. So
Wesolak's a West Coast guy, though. So he's on the West Coast. I think Oregon's in the mix out there a little bit. Of course, we have the Bama's in the mix with any stud, but he's also a West Coast guy that, of course, I mean, naturally, he's a lean. LA is still LA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he lives in Missouri, but we'll call that the West Coast.
It's close to the West, right?
Yeah.
That's middle of nowhere.
Let's see.
Midwest? What is Minnesota? I really thought he was in like Oregon or something.
No, he's in Missouri.
Boonville, Missouri.
Oh, he's in Missouri.
I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, he's not going to USC.
Yeah, but if you're right in the middle of the country, it's just as quick of a flight to LA as it is to Gators.
Quick sidebar. Bad trips for me this year. Both Columbia's, Missouri, and South Carolina, rough. Real rough. Bottom tier, bottom feeder in terms of college towns in the SEC.
I would imagine. I seen us when we played South Carolina, they was throwing like stuff on the field. It was like 2 years ago, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I was there, but I don't remember.
Yeah. That's when I told myself I was never going to a game in Columbia right there. It looked like trash.
Yeah, it's a cool that's where I told you guys I almost got arrested by the police for jumping on a moving train during the middle of the tailgate.
What?
Yeah, no, they have that train in South Carolina, right behind the stadium.
Yeah.
Hold on. You jumped on a moving train.
Yeah, it was moving like 2 miles an hour because it's through town. And so it goes really slow. And I didn't know it was against the law in South Carolina to jump on a moving train. So I
think that's against the law everywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know train law. Getting Neil on and we can talk about train law. Hopped on the train, got a picture, had a cop come up to me, said, "Do you want to get arrested today?" I said, "Wasn't my intention." He's like, "If you jump on the train one more time, you're going to jail." So I did not jump on the train again.
That's big.
There should be laws against trains.
That's big 1904 Hobo Dan vibes right there. Just train hopping, trying to get out of town.
When was it? 2009. So statute of limitations is all done. So we're all good there. We mentioned him before. Isaiah Bond, still committed to UF, took trips to Miami last weekend, took trips to Alabama this weekend. Did the Eddie Pinheiro, right in the front seat of the car with Nick Saban. In the same way Eddie Pinheiro spurned Nick Saban, Isaiah Bond says he's still committed to the University of Florida. In other news, the Gators offered a punter kicker, Trey Smack, I believe out of Maryland. He's the number 3 kicker, the number 5 punter, according to ESPN. Alex McPherson, who we just mentioned, who's the brother of Evan McPherson, is the only other kicker with a scholarship. Alex McPherson was just on campus. The Gators offered another kicker just a day after he left campus. So I will let you read the tea leaves.
You think what he told us? No.
I mean, I wouldn't. How many kicker offers you're going to send out?
This is only Florida's second real kicker offer. So
yeah, so I think you had an official visit. You read some tea leaves. You got some vibes, and you were like, "Hey, let's. Who's next up?"
Yeah,
I could see him going. I could see him going to Bama. I could see Alex going to Bama. He is. They're from the state. I know he's got the Alabama offer out there. I could see him staying closer to home.
Yeah, it's tough to follow a legend. I get it, and especially when your brother's the legend, right? So, all right, guys, ready for buy or sell?
Guess I got to learn a new kicker.
It's my favorite time of the show. All right, Nick, first question for you. Turnover margin. Buy or sell, the Gators have a positive turnover margin this year.
I'll buy.
Okay.
I don't know why. Just going to buy.
It's good analysis.
Just blind money, throwing it.
Okay.
I like that breakdown, Nick.
Thanks. Thought about that one for a while.
So, buy or sell, the Gators have a positive turnover margin this year.
I'm buying it.
Okay.
I just think of a pass rush just creates havoc and turnovers, man. I think we'll have a hell of a pass rush this year. I think we're gonna run the ball a lot. Yeah, give me positive, man. Run the ball, play defense, and the vibes. Play action pass off of the run. Control the clock a little bit. Go a little tempo when we can. But yeah, I like it. What you like? What you got, Dan?
I'm gonna sell. I think the Gators are gonna turn over the ball a little bit more this year. Or last year, the Gators were -3 on turnover margin. They had 16 gained and then 19 lost. I think that Florida's going to run the ball a little bit more this year. I'm still a little concerned about their ability to hold on to the football. Also, you have a running quarterback, and you also have a quarterback that you have some unknowns. Florida lost, some depth there at cornerback. I think that the defensive line will be improved. That's actually going to be the next buy or sell question.
We lost what at cornerback?
We lost some depth.
Okay, very good. That's what you want to call it.
We lost some players at we lost some experience. I just am not sure.
We lost some shoe toss, man. We good, man. We'll be all right. We just lost some veteran guys that we always exhausted of more than anything, man. We was ready for some fresh faces anyway at the cornerback position, but
sure, yeah, quarterback and at safety. So Florida, I'm going to say Florida has a negative margin just for sake of staking my ground.
That all one right. Time my
wow,
I thought it was a train.
All right, next buy or sell question. Nick, buy or sell Zach Carter leading the team in sacks?
I'll sell that. I think he's going to be a guy that probably creates sacks for other players. Between him, Valentino, and Newkirk in the middle, I think you've got a bunch of guys that can fill the gap, kind of demand double teams, and I think then you start getting Bretton Cox in one-on-one scenarios. So I think he led the team in sacks last year, but I think this year, with the added depth you have at defensive tackle, I think he'll be more creating. But I am expecting a big year from him. But I'll sell. I almost talked myself out of it right there.
So?
No, I'm not going to buy Zach Carter leading the team in sacks. I got either Bogle or Cox for that. Give me Bogle.
Okay. Do you guys know who led the team in sacks last year?
Carter, I think.
You sure did.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with
that. You weren't listening. I said that. I almost talked myself into a buy from a sell after dropping that little nugget.
Sorry, I was preparing my next buy or sell. Yeah, Zach Carter. I'm going to buy Zach Carter. I think that he's going to be improved. I think that they're going to be able to create some havoc, like you said, between Newkirk, Shelton, Gervon Dexter able to eat up some of that space, which is going to open up a guy like Zach Carter, Brenton Cox, Chris Bogle. But I think that Zach Carter leads the teams, not by much, maybe by a full sack or a half sack. But I do expect a better year out of Brenton Cox. I also expect maybe Andrew Chatfield and a couple of these other guys, Princely, to get an opportunity to climb that stat board as well. And finally, last year, Kadarius Toney averaged 12.64 yards per punt return. He had 1 touchdown, 139 yards, and 11 total returns. Do you buy or sell that the Gators are going to have a punt returner average more than 12.64 yards? We'll just say 12 for math, 12 yards per attempt. Nick?
I don't like batting leadoff every time. I don't know who is even going to return punts right now, so I'll go sell. I think Finley Graham's a guy that might return kicks. I just don't know who they would have returning punts. So without even a clear person for the job, it's hard for me to sell or to buy. So I'll sell.
Well, if you have to, go ahead, Sal.
I think he goes with someone sure-handed that he trusts. Like he went with Swain before, and then he went with KT. So I don't think he go with like a bench rider, not bench rider, but I don't think he go with a non-starter. I think he go with like Jacob Copeland or somebody. So still tricky for me. That average sounds pedestrian, but it's not.
No. I mean, that's punt return. You get a bunch of fair catches. You get a bunch of try to do something, get 2 yards, 5 yards. Punt return's a lot different. I just don't know if Copeland's got like that. Kadarius is so good at the stop-start. He doesn't have any ACLs. There's nothing to tear in there, and he just stops on a dime and is off full speed in the other direction, and in the snap of the finger. I think Copeland's more of a straight line guy. I don't know if he has the same quickness, and you're really looking for a guy. First off, I think
Copeland is just as quick. I just think he does less. Sometimes I think Kadarius Toney got on our nerves with the over-exaggerating some of his cuts and stuff. I think Copeland is just as quick as him, but I just think he does less when he get the ball. He tries to get upfield and not shake people. More like a Percy Harvin type quick than a Kadarius Toney quick.
I like that. Nick, if you could pick one person to return kicks for your return punts for your team that's on this roster, who would it be?
I wouldn't pick Copeland. I don't know. I think Graham. I don't know Graham. I don't know if you put Hendo there. I don't know if he's done that before, or if he means maybe too much to your offense and you don't want him to be there. But for me, if we're not worrying about injuries or anything like that, I'd try Henderson.
That's a tall ass punt returner.
So.
I'm just saying, I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it's tall.
I'm gonna throw a.
I like Copeland for punt return. I'm gonna go on the record. I give me Cope or maybe Bobin or a running back or somebody like that. Who you got, Dan?
I was gonna throw a different name out there because he's sneaky athletic. He's deceptively quick.
Where are you going with this?
Whitmore.
He's a coach's kid. Gym rat, first in, last out type of guy. I like Lil Whitmore back there potentially. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm not sure if he's getting much play back there. I'm not sure if he's doing it. But when I think of consistency, when I think of sure-handedness, it's ridiculous. See what I've had to deal with for 2 years?
Oh my goodness!
The Whitmore Hive leadership by Dan has been phenomenal, man. I can't, it's impressive stuff, man. But punt return, bro, I don't know about that one. Well, I do like Whit.
I forgot DeMarcus Bowman. I think you casually mentioned him. Silk. That'll be my new guy, DeMarcus Bowman for punt return.
Yeah, I mean, just to keep him happy, give him some touches. Electrical guy. I like Bowman in that spot. Even Lingers, a top end speed guy. But you gotta get that's an opportunity to score with the type of athletes we have on campus. So I don't want nobody back there like Swain just making safe catches. I want somebody that could score with that thing every time they touch it.
Someone who woke up feeling dangerous.
Right. I see it. Trent Whittemore is probably not that guy. He doesn't seem like the type of wake up dangerous.
For sure, he's more Freddie Swain in that position than I would say Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, and Freddie Swain did return punts under Dan Mullen. So my final question to you.
Yeah, I'm not saying he won't get it, but I wouldn't like it if he did got it.
All right. Last one, buy or sell. This is going to be a tough one for me to judge. I'm just going to throw a number out there. I was just doing some research about it. Buy or sell, Emory Jones throws the ball at least 325 times this season.
Sell.
I don't even know if that's bad or good. Like
that would be a little bit less than 30 passes per game.
Yeah. So
yeah, I buy. I just think that's where the league's going.
Okay.
I just think like football is just such a passing league. They ain't gonna have no choice.
Yeah, we have Quincy Avery. We had Quincy Avery on the show. We had Denny Thompson on the show, hyping up Emory Jones. Before the question is even finished, Nick is selling. Obviously not buying into the Denny Thompson.
Yeah, you feel it? You see, like we got experts come on here and disrespect. You see?
I'm the expert here.
On baseball.
I mean, last year, Kyle Trask averaged 36 a game last year. And if we're talking about using Emory Jones' legs as an ability to change and make the offense more dynamic, you're going to say he's throwing, six. Just around the same as Kyle Trask threw last year. I just don't see it. You only had, I think, 7 quarterbacks throw average 30 a game last year. And some of them were guys like Trask and Mac Jones who weren't running ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think
once you get into SEC play, that like some of the pace of the game is going to just make us have to throw that many times a game. Regardless, I think teams are going to load the box. I mean, 30 is probably a lot. I mean, that's a hard buy and sell. Cause I thought that was a crazy number when he said it. It's probably closer to 25, right?
Yeah, I wish I would have done the math a little bit better. I was trying to average all these numbers in my head from the last 7 or 8 seasons, but that's what I get for doing this on the fly, Nick.
Yeah, I'm just here to pull up CFB stats and keep you in check 2 weeks in a row now.
No, I appreciate that.
I'm here.
I like Spencer's take on Copeland. He says he's tough out there to catch. He like him on punts too. I like that. I like Copeland there, man.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I thought they were crazy when they put Swain back there, and then he started breaking them off.
Well, yeah,
he made it look good
every now and then. I mean, he was just safe.
It was smart. It was a smart play.
It was a smart move, but like in hindsight, I wouldn't mind seeing Tony back there then.
I think that was before Kadarius Toney realized that he doesn't need to run 150 yards sideline to sideline to gain 2.
I'd rather see him go sideline to sideline for 50 yards than some of those fair catches, though. Be honest.
Yeah, but I saw Kadarius Toney make some risky catches last year. That the year before, probably would have given me a heart attack.
I feel you.
He's got to the point where it'd be like fair catch, fair catch, fair catch. And he's like, I don't care if I'm catching this at the 1. Like this punt is being returned.
Yeah,
this punt is being returned unless it's out of bounds. And I might run up the sideline with it just to get some running.
I think good punt returns are all a little insane, and I think Copeland's a little insane.
One of those that start like, oh no. Oh, okay, go.
Okay.
Like what's worse than happen? I die. Let me just catch it.
If I die. Let's catch this ball.
Right.
I love it. Well, boys, that's this week of buy or sell. Appreciate you playing, and we're still keeping tally.
Oh, we keeping tally of this?
Sounds like, man, I've been reckless throwing money around.
Yeah, your reckless takes no more.
File bankruptcy on the show.
All right, cool. I think that's the end of our show, boys.
Good stuff.
Hey, tell Bolden he owed us one, bro.
Yeah, he owes us one.
Still a good ass show, man.
That was a really good show. Yeah. That was really good content. All right, boys, I got to run. I don't have a name for a show, Cam. Do you?
Nope, I need some help.
Betting reckless.
No. Call it. He said something about hockey and curling.
Curling, the most interesting sport on ice.
That's a very long title.
Yeah, that's a crazy long title.
You just asked me what I said. That's what I said.
Curling and speed hockey. What else we talked about? Olympics.
Oh, wait, what do you call someone that?
Oh, we could do something about the NCAA. The NCAA cartel.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
Because Neil called it a cartel, I call it the mafia.
What did you call him? You called him Mark.
Mark Emmert Escobar.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I like all that.
Yeah,
Mark Emmert Escobar goes down.
I like that one. Yeah, we'll just do that one.
How do you spell his name?
I gotta look it
Bro,
up.
Google it, bro. You mean?
Let me Google that for you.
It's like how you spell it? Emmert, I think. Right? No.
Yeah,
That's what I'm with.
no,
Is it
man, close.
I don't know.
Very
I'll
good.
find it.
MARK.
I just put it in there. I just put it.
chat.
I just put it in there.
He said MARK.
I didn't know which one he needed help on, so I'm just trying to be helpful over here.
No, the Escobar.
Oh, ESCOBAR.
Cam, it's right in there. It's right ahead of where you typed it.
Yeah, I already typed it once. Thank you.
You
Yeah,
typed
he's
it
bullshit.
wrong.
Y'all.
You typed Mark Emmert Escobar.
I'm bullshitting the Escobar. Thank you, Corey.
All right, boys. I got a hockey game to watch. I'll see you guys.
All
I'll
right,
see you.
man.
Man.